Hello everyone, I'm going to give you a quick update on some 3D printing stuff that I've been doing over the last few days. First off, a update with the Quark. Now I'm showing you it here without any legs because it just keeps falling over and is quite annoying. I'm going to completely reprint this body, but in the meantime I've reprinted the head, so now swivel. It still needs a bit of cleanup to do. The printer still can't do the circles, which it doesn't look too bad, but I've noticed one thing after watching the episode, that this spike should be taller, but it's a very small quibble. Yeah, so this model is essentially finished, well, apart from the fact that I've got to reprint the body, and I might reprint the legs as well. But yeah, that's it for that. Not sure if I showed you the Imperial last time. Well, that's a very glowy Dalek, but this Dalek is essentially done. I'm still waiting on some paints. That's why the hemispheres aren't attached, and the plunger, because I need to get some paint. But yeah, so it's a very, very nice kit, actually. It really is. Very, very impressed with it. Someone asked how much filament this took, and one Dalek takes roughly about 75 grams of filament, and you get 1,000 grams in a spool. So technically you could print this, say, round it up to 100 grams for all the supports and bed adhesion stuff that you have to do that isn't part of the model but is still used. So say 100, that's still 10 Daleks for one reel, and when you consider a reel of white of plastic costs about between 20 and 30 pounds, I mean, okay, they're not character options. They are sort of posable, but the arms aren't, the eye isn't. But the quality and what you're getting is very good, and the fact that they look more Imperial than the character option stuff. Yeah, so that's that. All the hemispheres are down in the shed at the minute. I might have to reprint them because some of them are ever so slightly off spherical. So yeah, but in terms of almost finished Daleks, damn it, we have Renegade Dalek from Remembrance. Now, there are a couple of issues, but as you can see, I've got some black filament now, and without the shoulder section, that looks quite funky, and I was a bit worried. And also the dome isn't exactly perfect, but I've tried printing it a couple of times, and that's how it kept coming out, so I'm going to leave it as. I need to reprint these shoulders because they didn't print correctly, and these slats were a pain to glue on, and for some reason it didn't print enough. I thought I did. Oops. Yeah, see, that's just come off. But no, it's amazing the difference a bit of colour in a model makes. And I've been working with Daleks now for just about 15 years maybe, and I still have to remind myself which side the gun goes and which side the arm goes. But yeah, unlike with the Imperial, which the arms stick into the joints are part of the Dalek, part of the shoulder panel. So these actually stick on the little hemispheres. Yeah, so that's that. I did actually make a mistake before I got the black filament. I printed the base in grey, so I've got a little build up of Dalek parts. So it's like a Dalek junkyard. They'll be going to my buddy Phil, who has asked for them because he customises stuff. Anything? Oh yeah, the eye still needs to be done. I did actually print it off, but it went wrong, and it basically looked like a pancake. These were a pain to glue on, but they are well worth it. They look amazing. I should have painted it a little bit darker, but I think as it looks really good. So that's that. Oh, and you'll notice that these don't clip together like this one does. These aren't glued together, these actually clip together. This was Audrey's first kit, which he's since actually improved with the neck. But yeah, it doesn't clip together, which I'm sure it's not a problem, but you have to be careful. Next is a project I'm working on. Now, those of you with a keen eye will recognise this skirt, fender and dome as a Mechmaster Mark 6. Now, to remind you, this is my earlier attempt with the other printer I had. And yeah, this is rubbish compared to what this has produced. Now, there are a few issues, as always. I mean, this dome could be smoother, but in terms of detail, it is perfect. The fender, I suddenly had a panic. I thought my printer was out of alignment, but it turns out that the... Oh, I got it upside down, you idiot. Turns out that it's not completely flat, so that's why this bit looks thicker than the other bit. But in terms of the detail, can you see that? Sort of. It's very, very good, and it's solid. But what I mean by the issues is you can see these lines. These shouldn't be here. You can see ever so slightly the panel lines of where the skirt lifts up in the model. But it's got everything. It's got the little details here. It's got the vents. It's got the inserts here. I don't know why this hasn't been printed. I'm still learning how to slide. Oops. Gotta stop kicking the camera. I've got to learn how to slice models properly, because this should have been hollow. And that shouldn't have been there either. That's filament. You can see it kind of similar to that. So I've got to learn how to do that properly. But yeah, in terms of model, very, very, very good. Now, the last thing I have to show you is all praise of the Emperor. I now have an Emperor model, and I also have the hemispheres printed. Now, I could reprint these in black, which I might do actually, but yeah. Hey, it actually stayed. It's the new game of Jenga. No, what's that game? Kaplunk. How many hemispheres can you fit in the Emperor before? Oh, that one's just a little bit too loose. Oh, oh, try another one. Ooh. Let's just try, and we get no. Who dares disturb my slumber? Replay. Ah! Well, I lost. Anyway. So, again, this is a model by Audrey, the guy who did the Imperial and the Renegade. And I love this model. This body took 14 hours to print, which was my first overnight print, and it was I didn't get much sleep. I was like, I'm gonna wake up to a shed on fire, because I'd heard about printers catching fire during the night, but no, thankfully my shed is still standing. But yeah, and it's not glued together yet. So but this is awesome. Now technically I could use this as a Xenol, Emperor Xenol model as well, except for a couple of details in the body and on the eye, and the fact that he has lights up top of it. But the fact that I now have a physical representation of the Evil of the Daleks Emperor, and technically the Mutant Phase Emperor and Dalek Empire Emperor. I know they're not the same Emperor, but well, they could be. Anyway, I'm in love with this. I really, really am. It's kind of amazing how much of a boost it is to have a creative project go right. I'm so used to things turning out like this, and well, people would say that's good, yeah, but it's not how I envisioned it. But this is amazing. I really, really love this, and I really, really hope that this continues to go the way I want it to. My ultimate goal is to actually have some set pieces for these guys. I mean, I'd love to have a few Mech Master Daleks on the shelf. People have been asking if I plan to sell these models, and the short answer is no. Because, for two reasons. Well, one, the BBC own the copyright to the Daleks, and I'd get in trouble if, even if it was like a private sale. I just wouldn't be comfortable with doing that. There's a cat whisker for some reason. Would I do commissions? No, I wouldn't, because, well, for a start, these are not my designs to sell, both because of the BBC, the Daleks, and Mech Master. It's one thing producing animations and making a model for yourself. I just wouldn't, even if he said it would be alright, I wouldn't feel right doing it. And plus, I'm not, something that's okay for me would not be okay for other people. I'd paint this and it'd be a mediocre standard. I'm not a very good painter. But yeah, so if anyone's asking for a copy, then I'm afraid the answer is no. Unless the BBC suddenly say, yes, you can produce these. They are awesome, and we will give you lots of money to do so. Then yes. Something I might do, actually, when I've got this working, is I might make a mould of this and produce copies that way, because this took about 6 hours to print, which isn't a long time when you compare it to the 13 or 14 hours that this took. But while this is printing, say for example I've got Xenol, Grexnol, I'm printing one from Zolo. While I'm printing on Zolo, I could have been making a cast of one of these, and then I could have been printing something else. Unless I get another printer, and then you can have multiple things going up wrong. That is an option, but it's not something I have the capability of doing at the moment, because the printer I got was about 230, which isn't a lot when it comes to printers, but yeah, I definitely will get another one at some point, but not at the moment. So yes, what am I working on at the minute? I'm redoing the skirt section for this, and I will share the results of that. I am posting stuff on Instagram and Deviant Art, and also on Facebook every now and then. Also, speaking of Facebook, a lot of people have joined the group lately. I'm now up to 75 likes, so yay, thank you. I don't really post much on the Facebook group, but if there's anything you would like me to start posting on social media, then let me know. Maybe even just short clips. There won't be any animations, because... Oh yeah, in terms of animation, I'm working on Multiverse Part 6 at the moment. It's about 90% done. So yeah, hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I'm certainly enjoying working on them, and I will see you all guys next time.